It all began quietly, away from the cameras, red carpets, and public events. Shen Yue had been filming a new project, one that focused on the emotional complexities of love and second chances. Those who were close to her said that filming the project brought back old memories, memories of the one co-star who had once understood her better than anyone else, Wang. In a recent interview, Shen Yue spoke softly about unfinished connections and the people who leave a mark you never quite erase. Though she never mentioned his name, fans instantly knew who she was referring to. The internet lit up overnight. Hashtags like Shen Yue confession and Wang reaction trended across platforms. But what happened next was something no one saw coming. According to insiders close to Dylan's team, the actor had been sent a clip of Shen Yue's interview while on set for his latest fantasy drama. At first, he brushed it off, joking with the crew about how fans love to twist things. But as the segment played on, showing Shen Yue's voice breaking ever so slightly as she said, "Sometimes we meet the right person at the wrong time," Dylan fell silent. One of the crew members described the moment perfectly. He stopped smiling. He didn't say a word for a long time. You could tell those words hit him deeply. Dylan and Shen Yue's journey has always been complicated. From their early days shooting Meteor Garden, the two developed a bond that fans described as too natural to be acting. Behind the cameras, they shared laughter, late-night rehearsals, and inside jokes that only they understood. But as their careers grew, so did the distance between them. Shen Yue focused on building her acting range, taking on more serious, emotionally driven roles. Dylan, meanwhile, became one of China's most in-demand male leads, balancing fame, endorsements, and tight schedules. Despite the years apart, their connection never faded. Whenever Dylan mentioned Shen Yue in interviews, his tone softened. And whenever Shen Yue spoke about her early career, she always credited Dylan for making her believe in herself as an actress. So when this confession surfaced, fans couldn't help but wonder, was Shen Yue still holding onto feelings that had never truly faded? And more importantly, did Dylan feel the same way? Within days of the interview, fans began noticing something unusual on Dylan's social media. He posted a short clip, a piano recording of an unreleased song. The caption simply read, "Some things are better said late than never." The internet exploded. Fans flooded the comments, asking if the song was dedicated to Shen Yue. And though Dylan never confirmed it, the timing and the emotion in that post said enough. A week later, the two were unexpectedly spotted attending the same event in Shanghai. It wasn't planned. They weren't seated together. But when Shen Yue walked into the room, witnesses say Dylan's entire demeanor changed. He couldn't take his eyes off her. When they finally greeted each other, it wasn't dramatic or staged, just a soft, genuine smile that lingered longer than expected. Someone from the media captured the moment, and within hours, the image went viral. Fans called it the look of unfinished love. Days later, reporters caught up with Shen Yue again. When asked if she had seen Dylan's reaction or heard about his post, she laughed shyly and said, "Maybe some things don't need to be explained. They just are." Her answer was simple, but it spoke volumes. For Dylan, however, sources say the moment stirred emotions he had long buried under his busy schedule and public image. Friends close to him revealed that he reached out to Shen Yue privately, not to rekindle gossip, but to finally talk. A conversation that, according to insiders, lasted for hours. Neither of them has shared what was said. But the fact that they're talking again has already reignited hope among fans who never stopped believing in their bond. And perhaps, in that quiet, unspoken exchange, Dylan and Shen Yue found the closure, or the new beginning, they both needed. Because sometimes, love doesn't vanish. It simply waits for the right time to return. This moment, this reunion, has reminded fans why their story was so unforgettable in the first place. Whether they become lovers, friends, or simply two souls forever connected by the past, one thing is clear, their chemistry isn't just acting. It's real. And the world is watching what comes next. In the weeks that followed their quiet reunion, something shifted between Wang and Shen Yue. The tension that once surrounded their names started to fade, replaced by a calm that only two people who truly understood each other could share. It began subtly. Industry insiders noticed how Dylan seemed lighter during interviews, more reflective, even smiling when asked about old projects. Shen Yue, too, seemed different. Her recent appearances carried a glow that fans immediately picked up on. "She looks genuinely happy," one fan commented under her latest post. "It's the same smile she used to have when she was with Dylan." Behind the scenes, both stars were walking carefully. They knew how fragile public perception could be. Dylan's team reportedly advised him to stay quiet, to let things cool down, but those who knew him well said he wasn't interested in hiding anymore. "He's at a point in his life where he values truth over image," said one close friend. "He doesn't want to lose someone important just because of how it might look." Meanwhile, Shen Yue was facing her own internal battle. The confession that had reignited everything wasn't meant to spark a media storm. It was simply her truth. Yet now, that truth had drawn her closer to the one person she thought she had lost forever. Friends say that after Dylan reached out, the two began talking regularly, sometimes late into the night, reminiscing about their early days, their struggles, and the parts of life they missed when fame took over. Those conversations reportedly brought tears, laughter, and eventually, understanding. They both realized that time had changed them, but the bond between them never really faded. It only waited. But as news spread that they were back in contact, media outlets began circling again, eager to reignite the Dylan and Shen Yue love story. Tabloids speculated everything, from secret meetings to possible reconciliation. Dylan's management quickly denied dating rumors, saying the two were simply old friends reconnecting. But fans weren't convinced. They saw the signs, the subtle hints that always reveal the truth before any statement does. On a quiet evening, Shen Yue uploaded a photo on her social media, a picture of the night sky, with a caption that read, "Some stars never stop shining, even when you can't see them." Within minutes, Dylan liked the post. No words, no emojis, just a single gesture that sent the internet into a frenzy. Comments poured in by the thousands. "He's telling her he's still there," one user wrote. "This is their love language, silent but strong," another added. What many didn't know was that both actors had recently been offered a new project together. A romance drama, one that explores two people reuniting years after separation. The production team reportedly approached them separately, not knowing their current situation. But when the offer reached Dylan, he didn't hesitate. He told his team to keep the dates open. For Shen Yue, the decision wasn't as easy. She feared that working with Dylan again could bring unwanted attention or emotional complications. Yet, deep down, she couldn't ignore the feeling that maybe fate was giving them one more chance, not just on screen, but in real life. Days later, an insider confirmed that Shen Yue had accepted the role. The internet exploded with excitement, calling it the reunion the decade has been waiting for. Fans flooded social media with messages like, "They're coming back full circle, and this is not just acting, it's destiny." But for Dylan and Shen Yue, this wasn't about rekindling fame or fueling speculation. It was about closure, connection, and the rare chance to rewrite a story they thought was already over. Sources close to the two revealed that during their first table read, the atmosphere was both nostalgic and emotional. Dylan reportedly reached out his hand and said, "It feels like we never stopped." Shen Yue smiled, quietly replying, "Maybe we weren't supposed to." That moment set the tone for everything that followed. The chemistry between them reignited effortlessly. Every glance, every line, every unscripted pause carried years of unspoken emotion. The crew even admitted that watching them together felt different, almost like witnessing something real unfold before their eyes. As filming progressed, fans noticed how both of them began sharing little behind-the-scenes glimpses, sunsets, studio shots, music playlists, each one subtly connected to the other. It wasn't obvious, but for those who had followed their journey from the beginning, it was unmistakable. By the time the drama's teaser dropped, the entire internet was in tears. The storyline mirrored their real lives, two people separated by time, reunited by fate. Viewers couldn't help but feel that it wasn't just a performance, it was a confession. And maybe that's exactly what it was. In interviews, Dylan avoided direct answers but left trails of truth in his words. "Sometimes," he said with a faint smile, "life writes stories better than any script." Shen Yue echoed the same sentiment, saying, "Some roles you don't play, you live them." Their words carried meaning far beyond promotion. They were pieces of their hearts finally finding peace. Whether or not they ever confirm a romantic relationship, fans believe they've already found what matters most, healing, respect, and the kind of bond that fame can't destroy. In a world that moves fast and forgets even faster, Dylan Wang and Shen Yu's story stands as a quiet reminder that real connections don't fade. They evolve, they wait, and sometimes they find their way back home.